Good evening, everyone. We proudly present Series 192 Out of the Park Baseball. 21 is our game engine, and we have a wonderful matchup awaiting you here from maybe the two most popular franchises in the game, the Yankees and the Cubs, and even better than that, we truly have one of the best teams of all time, a world champion finally being randomly drawn. It is one of the best Yankee teams in history that we will see in this series, and they're up against a pretty good team, so the drama will be at its highest. One of the favorites maybe of any year gets a chance to strut their stuff against the Cubs. So you'll see what I mean here as we get to the introductions of Series 192. This is a historical baseball matchup. We're so glad that you're here with us, and I think you're in for a treat today as we present this best of 7 series for you. So here we go. It's the 1956 New York Yankees. They are led by Casey Stengel. This was in the golden era of Yankee baseball. They were in the midst of basically winning the pennant and the championship, or competing for the championship year after year. They had a run from 56 until 60, of course, where they won it all every one of those years. Well, I should take that back. They did lose to the Braves, but they were pennant winners every year. And this 56 team especially famous because they beat the Dodgers in 7 games. And a couple notable things about this team. First of all, it was Don Larson's year where he pitched the perfect game in the World Series. So Larson made a legend of himself by pitching that game in the World Series. And also Mickey Mantle. Mantle won the Triple Crown in 56. Did it with his best year pretty much of his wonderful career. And you can see it here. He hit .353, 130 RBIs, and 52 home runs. Mantle, just an unbelievable year. The Triple Crown winner in the American League. He slugged .705, a .464 OBP, and an OPS of 1.169. Mantle really having it all going his way before the injuries, before the problems. So much promise at 24 years old. One of truly the greatest players of all time. Along with Mantle, of course, you got a bunch of talent on this team. At catchers, Yogi Berra, 298, 30 home runs for Berra, 105 RBIs for him. And then you go maybe to Hank Bauer, who hit 26 homers and 84 RBIs in right field. Elston Howard, who's 27 years old here, 262 for him, only 98 games. Gil McDougall, 311, 13 and 56 for McDougall, 405 on base. Billy Martin at second base, he hit 264, but a spark plug and a very good defender. And Bill Skowron, 308, 23 bombs, and 90 RBIs for him. Andy Carey's also here. You have Joe Collins on the bench. He hit 225, but did appear in 100 games. But again, the stars here, of course, Mantle, Berra, McDougall, Bauer, some good talent, but especially Mantle, who was unearthly in this 56 year, and really one of the classic seasons for the Yankees. Looking at their pitching, there it is. Whitey Ford, 19-6 for him. The chairman of the board's 2.47 ERA. He pitched in over 225 innings. He's the consummate big game pitcher. Ford, a great record and a great year, and pitched well in the series. Johnny Cucks, 18-9 for him in 31 starts. He had a 3.85 ERA, 224 innings for him. He struck out 67, so a control pitcher. And there's Don Larson, who had his most memorable moment in 56. His numbers also pretty good, 11-5, a 326 in 20 starts, 6 complete games, a shutout. And there's Tom Sturdivant, 16-8 and 330 for Sturdivant. He also got a number of starts and pitched well. And Bob Turley went in 21 starts, 8-4, 505. Not so strong for Turley. Other guys will most likely step up for Casey Stengel and get starts over him. Tom Morgan, the man out of the pen with 11 saves, a 4.16 ERA for him. Tommy Burns here. Mickey McDermott, just some other names. But, of course, the stars of the team, Whitey Ford, who's leading the charge, and Don Larson, who became a legend, so to speak, in 56, really helping out the Yankees and their strong lineup. So a world champion on tap here. It's the Yankees. They will present a 97-win season. They won the pennant and beat the Dodgers in 7 games. Their opponents, much earlier, it is the 1919 Chicago Cubs, and this Cubs team, led by Fred Mitchell, was 10 games over 500. They finished third in the National League, but the Cubs in the early part of the century were very good, and you can see here their team, looking at them a little bit closer, we can see Max Flack at 294 in the outfield. He stole 18 bases in 116 games. Les Mann and Dodd Paskert played in less than 100 games. Paskert especially struggling with a 196. So the hitting not great here for the Cubs. Charlie Deal, 289. He drove in 52, so he was decent at third base. Charlie Hollicher, 270. 16 steals for him. Only 26 RBIs. Charlie Pick only played in 75 games, hit 244. And there's Fred Merkle, 267, led the team in RBIs with 62 at first base, 20 doubles. And Bill Killefer, the catcher, 286 for him, 22 RBIs. Lee McGee on the bench, along with Buck Herzog, Bob O'Farrell. But in truth, the Cubs offense not very good at all, struggling to generate runs, which was their big problem in the 1919 season. While across town, there was another team called the Black Sox that were doing much better, although their end wasn't very happy either. So all the strength here, of course, for this Cubs team is their pitching, and you see it very clearly here. Hippo Vaughn, 179 ERA. Actually, they got two guys with ERAs under 2. The 179 for Vaughn, 21 wins. Outstanding. He struck out 141 men, only allowed 3 homers all year, walked 62. And there's Pete Grover, Cleveland Alexander, 16-11. 172 for him in 235 innings. One of the all-time greats, Alexander. Not past his prime yet. Pitching outstanding baseball. 9 shutouts for Alexander in 1919. Claude Hendricks, very good, also 262, and Phil Douglas at 2 on his ERA over his 19 starts. So those 4 starters, very tough to beat. Speed Martin, Paul Carter, Sweet Brett Bailey, don't get a name quite often like that, also in the pen. The Cubs, of course, only having a handful of pitchers because their starters did most of the work. Unbelievable pitching for the Cubs, which makes the series even more intriguing because, of course, they're going up against the mighty Yankees. So the series, you can see some good teams, famous franchises as I mentioned. The Yankees, being the champs, will have home field advantage at the old Yankee Stadium. They'll get games 1 and 2 before the middle portion of the series heads out to the old Clark and Addison Ballpark before it was named Wrigley Field. Weigman Park will be the venue for games 3, 4, and 5. So I'm excited to get this one started, see what the Yankees can do. Will they steamroll the Cubs, or are we going to have a competitive series here and maybe even start whispering about us upsets? So let's see what transpires. Looking over the pitching matchup in Game 1, it is going to be an unbelievable Hall of Fame matchup to start this series. Grover, Cleveland, Alexander going up against Whitey Ford at Yankee Stadium. Folks, it just simply doesn't get much better than that. So let's tee it up, sit back, and enjoy Game 1 of this series, Series 192. It's the 1919 Chicago Cubs against the champs, one of the greats, the 1956 New York Yankees, led by Casey Stengel. Going live now to Yankee Stadium for Game 1. Ready for action here at Yankee Stadium. Glad you're with us, and we have Hollicher facing Whitey Ford. A 2-2 pitch to open this ball game. Yankee Stadium at capacity. Let's see what transpires here. The pitch is hit into the hole, so the Cubs will start the game off with a single here in the first inning. Bottom of the first we go, however. There's runners on the corners with 1 out for Yogi Berra. Alexander in a little bit of a jam here, and this one's lifted to left near the corner, gonna be caught. Throw to the plate is gonna be in time. They risk it with McDougal, but the Cubs are ready for it, and they throw the runner out, so our game remains scoreless. to the second. Max Flack against Whitey Ford. And this one's drilled deep into left center field. In the deepest portions of Yankee Stadium, it is gone. Folks, 501 feet is what the tape measure says. Unbelievable. Flack with an absolute bomb. It's so hard to hit it out there in left center at Yankee Stadium, but Flack got it done, and it is 1-0 in favor of Chicago. Here comes now Hank Bauer. What a monumental home run. This one's hit to right field the other way. Bauer says, I can do it too. They count the same as long as they go over the wall. This one's gone. It is 1-1 here at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees respond with the Bauer home run. To the fourth, runner on second for Bill Killefer. 1 out. Killefer will go up the middle. Great play there. That'll save a run as McDougal fielded it, but it is a hit. So runners on the corners here for Turner Barber. And Ford trying to preserve the tie here if he can. And there's a strikeout, so Ford gets him a big second out here in the fourth inning. And Fred Merkle now the hitter. Merkle trying to get completely out of this, and he is fooled. Whitey Ford gets out of the inning. Stranding the runners on third are the Cubs. The game remains tied now at 1. And Ford the batter now against Alexander. We're in the fifth with 2 outs. And Ford is going to pop this one up. Should be playable. On the mound is the play, but it's dropped. An error there by Hollicher. He was mixed up with Alexander. They couldn't get the pop-up. The ball drops. Tricky footing there with the pitcher's mound. And now an opportunity for the Yankees. Andy Carey up there with 2 outs and 2 on. And Carey hits it to third, so the Cubs do not pay for the error. They get out of it. This game remains 1-1 to the sixth. Charlie Deal now facing Ford. As Ford and Alexander really in a good pitching duel. This one, however, is lifted to center field, so the Cubs will get a leadoff single here in the sixth inning. Deal gets on. Flack at the plate. We've already seen his power, and he does it again. That's the short porch. It is going to be caught, however. Bauer gets there, so 1 out for Killefer. 1-1 tie. Killefer goes to second. Playmate at second. Relay to first. Double play for the Yanks. We remain deadlocked at 1. Bottom of the sixth inning. Here's the Mick. Mantle up there with the man on first. And he strikes out. He's laid on the screwball. Alexander looking sharp. Here's Yogi Berra with 1 out. Berra rips it to right field. That'll drop in there. So runners first and second, 1 out. Tie game for Bill Skowron against Alexander. And this one's hit to short. And the play is made by the Cubs. They turn the double play. We are still tied at 1. We move to the seventh now. Ford still dealing here. Kilduff lifts a popper. That's going to be caught there by the shortstop. McDougal's got it. The Yankees up now. Billy Martin with 1 out and 1 on here in the seventh. Martin hits it to center field, but this one will be caught. A nice catch there by Barber. We move to the eighth. Hollicher's the pitcher. Ford's still in the game. It's a 1-1 pitching gem here. But this one's dropped into left field, so the Cubs get on the bases here to open the inning with 1 out. And Les Mann has a chance. 2-1 the count. This one's drilled, and it is going to drop in right field. So the Cubbies with first and second here and 1 out. And Charlie Deal has a big chance to give the Cubs the edge. And he hits it to left field. It'll drop in there, run around in third. The throw is going to be late, and Chicago will take the lead. The RBI single by Charlie Deal makes it 2-1. And the Cubs aren't done yet. Here's Flack. Flack lifts it to right field. This one will be caught. It's the second out of the inning. And now the Yankees down a run. The pressure mounts here as Alexander tries to close it out. There's a strikeout, a 2-2, beautiful breaking ball. So Alexander proving his worth. And here's McDougal with one out. This one's drilled to center field, so McDougal gets a hit. He's the tying run on board here. That'll bring up Mantle. Mantle representing the go-ahead run here. Alexander's got to be careful. And there's a walk, ball four. He is careful. So first and second, Yogi Berra up, 2-1 ball game. Alexander delivers. This one's hit deep. Deep to right field, looking up to the wall. Home run, Yogi! 3-run bomb, a huge one here in game one. Berra gives the Yanks the lead with a big home run off Alexander to jump in front 4-2. What a clutch hit that is. And here's Skowern. The fans still on their feet. Skowern's going to hit a single to center field. The Yankees breathing much easier now. Bottom of the eighth continues. Lou Skizas, he's the pinch hitter. Skizas will go up the middle, so Alexander really getting hammered now. First and second here with still only one out. We'll move now to the ninth. Ford looking to wrap things up. There's 2 outs here for Phil Kilduff. Let's see if Ford can go the distance. Here's the pitch. Popped up. That should be playable out in right field. It is, and the Yankees take it. Game one is theirs. They save it for late to come from behind and win this one. Whitey Ford goes 9 innings and out pitches Alexander to get the win. 9 innings for Ford, as we mentioned. 4 strikeouts. He did scatter 11 hits, but typical Ford. He did what he had to do when he had to do it, even if he didn't have his best stuff. But the biggest blow of the game, no doubt about it, Yogi Berra in the 8th inning, a 3-run home run out to right field. He hit it off Alexander, got a hold of one, and turned this game around. 2 for 3 for Bauer, a home run for him. And then let's not forget Max Flack's long home run in the 2nd inning, over 500 feet at Yankee Stadium. Alexander did his best, but he'll take the loss, and that's tough for the Cubs because they lose the opener with their ace pitching pretty well on the mound until the game got late, and one mistake to Berra was the difference. So the 56 Yanks start the series off just the way they want to, getting the win and setting up game 2 now at Yankee Stadium. Phil Douglas for the Cubs will take on Tom Sturvant. Sturvant has a chance here to put the Yankees up even further. Hopefully it'll be just as exciting a game as we had in game 1. We'll see if the Cubs can hold on this time with the lead. If they even get a lead, we'll see how the game plays out. Game 2 coming up. The Yankees have the early lead. Game 2 from Yankee Stadium starting now. Sturtevant now on the mound. Opening up game number 2. And there's a walk. So a runner on first for Charlie Deal. And Deal hits this one into the gap. No one's going to catch that one. So the Cubs off to the races here in the 1st inning. A stand-up double for Deal. So 2nd and 3rd for Flack. And Flack's going to drop it in there to left field. 1 run's going to score. 1-0 Cubs. They've started off beautifully here in the 1st inning. But they only get 1 across, and the Yankees now threatening. Here's Mantle with nobody out and 2 on. Mantle rips it now. That's going to drop for a hit in front of the right fielder. So the base is loaded for Yogi Berra, hero of game 1. Up now here in a huge spot in the 1st inning. And this one's ripped. That's going to drop for a hit. Runner's going to score. The Yankees tie the game. Bauer with a ripping RBI single to right. And now Bauer has a chance to give the Yanks the lead. Bauer goes to third. Play at second. They get the force, but a run scores. And it is now 2-1. Yanks make it 3-1. We move to the second. Mantle now at the plate. Mantle hits it deep near the monuments there in center field. That'll drop in there. Mantle chasing it down, but this is going to be a triple because there's so much room there in center field. So a leadoff triple here for Mantle. A big hit for him. But believe it or not here, the Cubs cannot get him home. And we move now bottom of the second. Mantle up with 2 on. And Mantle rips it to center. Over the center fielder's head. That's over. And that's going to score some runs. Digging it out of the monuments. A run will score. A double for Mantle. It is now 4-1 Yankees. 5-1 into the third inning. Les Mann, the hitter. Mann comes through again. It's a long one to left. Another home run for Mann. 2 in 2 games. This is also crushed, and it cuts the lead to 5-3. Whoa, has Les Mann been impressive here in these 2 games, showing off some power. To the 8th, however, it's 7-3. The Yankees in control. Hank Bauer, the hitter here, with 2 outs in the 8th. Bauer will hit this one deep up against the wall in right field. Bauer's going to have a triple here with 2 outs. A lot of triples at Yankee Stadium in these spacious outfield grounds. But we'll move to the 9th now. It's 8-4. Les Mann up with 2 outs. Sturdivant going the distance. He strikes him out. And the Yankees win game number 2, doubling up the Cubs. 8-4. They came out early, got the runs they needed, and held on behind their pitching star and their starter. And now they've taken both at home and can feel comfortable about what direction this series is going. Andy Carey 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored. Mantle 2 for 3, 2 RBI for him. Max Flack, he was 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. Sturdivant gets the win. And Douglas the loss. You see there the Yankees putting up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. And that was really more than enough for them. They came out in that first frame, loaded the bases with nobody out. Berra got it started, and from there they put 2 more on the board in the second and held on from there. So 13 hits for the Yankees, 11 for the Cubs, but the Yanks never trailed in this one and now have a 2-0 lead in this series. Complete control for the favorites and the champs. The Yanks always seem to play well in these best-of-7 series. Boy, do they have enough experience playing in them. And it looks like they are on their way. But the scenery changes now, folks. We head to Chicago and Weekman Park. It's going to be Hippo Vaughn getting the start. You can argue he's the ace of the Cubs staff against Johnny Cucks, which should make things interesting here in Game 3. Can the Cubs fight back? They really need this one. Or will the Yankees continue to step forward and make it a commanding 3-0 lead? A crucial game in Chicago. They're all big, but this one, if the Cubs want to have a realistic chance at competing or even winning the series, they really need this one. So heading out for afternoon baseball at Weekman Park, it's Game 3 of this best-of-7. The Yankees up 2-0. Holds on, delivers this ball to center field. That's going to be tough. That's the way to start it off. Here in the bottom of the first, Charlie Hollicher facing Johnny Cucks. And this one's hit hard and deep to right field. That's to the wall. Goodbye. Home run, Hollinger. He got it just over the fence. And it is 1-0 Chicago. They break out in front in the very first inning. They need a cushion here to try to build up their confidence. And they get it going here. We continue in the first. Killefer, the hitter. And Killefer goes up the middle. A base hit. Runner now heading to third base. He's going to score. Killefer will take second. 2-0 Chicago. 3-0 to the sixth. Vaughn has been excellent so far. Here's Mantle. Mantle takes ball 4, so the Yankees have 2 on here with only 1 out for Skowron. And Skowron rips it to left field. That gets down. Let's see if they send the runner. They will. Mantle makes it to third because the ball gets away. On there to let the runners advance. It is 3-1 here. And now the tying run's very close here in scoring position. Vaughn has to bear down against Berra. And Berra lifts this one to left field. That one's pretty deep. It is caught. Mantle's going to hold up. So a 3-run score here with 2 outs. And Lou Skizas is the hitter. And he looks at strike 3. So a great job by Vaughn. His 5th strikeout. He preserves the 2-run lead. To the 8th inning, still 3-1. Vaughn facing McDougal. And McDougal will hit this one to left for a leadoff single. So the tying run's going to come to the plate in Mickey Mantle. And the Mick's going to hit this one to second. Playmate at second. Relay to first. Double play for the Cubs. They turn it 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th now for Les Mann. And Mantle hit this one to center field for a single with 1 out. We are in the 9th, however. It's Skizas facing Vaughn. Vaughn has 1 out. He's going to try to close this one down. But there's a hit by Skizas into the gap. So Skizas got extra bases. He's going to make it to second. No need to risk the triple. He is not the tying run. On second base now for Hank Bauer with 1 out. And Bauer goes to short. Quick play made there. Hollinger makes it. 2 outs. And the last hope is Billy Martin. Martin is late. He strikes out. And hats off to Hippo Vaughn. He pitches a heck of a game here in Game 3, shutting down the Yankees and giving the Cubs their first win of the series and getting him back into this thing with a shout. Vaughn, 9 innings. He struck out 7, walked 3, no earned runs even though he let up 10 hits. Cox went 8 innings. He'll take the loss. He allowed 9 hits and 3 earned. And Charlie Deal went 3 for 4 for the Cubs with the double, an RBI. It was the Cubs that put 2 on the board in the first inning, another one in the 5th to make it 3, and Hippo Vaughn took it from there. Truly, we were saying going into the series, he is the ace of the team, and the way it's set up here, if we would get to a Game 7, it would be him who would take the mound again. But we're a long ways from there. The Yanks will not sweep. They will not dominate this series. The Cubs come right back and win the 3rd game at home and set up some drama and intrigue now as we move into Game 4. Don Larson will take the mound against Claude Hendricks. A good pitching matchup. We'll see what Larson can do. Remember, this is the year where he pitched his perfect game, and we'll see if he has his good stuff going into this crucial Game 4, as the Yankees will want to keep their advantage and not be even because of the Cubs win. It's a brand new series completely. So after Vaughn's performance, let's see what the Cubs can do. Game number 4 coming up from Weigman Park in Chicago. The fans have something to hope for now. Let's head to the action for Game 4. And a great catch here to start the game. Man makes an outstanding catch out there in left field. 2 on here, bottom of the first for Max Flack. And Flack goes deep to right field, way back. It could be 3-run home run for Flack. And it's 3-0 Cubs here in the very first inning. Larson, no perfect game in this one. He is getting pounded here in the first inning. Barber goes deep. It is 4-0. Disastrous beginning for Larson. The Cubs all over him. In the first inning, it's 4-0. We move to the third. Here's Bauer. Bauer goes deep to center. This ball's to the wall. It'll drop in there. So Bauer is looking for 3. He's going to have a triple. And Bauer's going to try to do the inside the park variety. He will get it. An inside the park hustle home run for Bauer, making it 4-1. You get these kind of plays in these spacious ballparks. And Bauer with some great hustle. But the score is still 5-1, and the Cubs ready to break it open here. Larson just cannot find his groove. And here's a line shot way back to the wall. Grand slam, folks. Fred Merkle gets it done. This game is long gone now, and a nightmare game for Don Larson. 9-2, we're in the 9th. Billy Martin up there with men on the corners and 2 outs. Martin lifts it to right. This one is caught, and Chicago has evened the series, coming back and winning 2 at home. 9-2 the final today. This one was a no-doubter for Chicago. Taking care of the Yankees. 3 for 5 for Flack. Another home run with 3 RBIs. Hendricks gets the win, and Merkle with the grand slam. In the 5th inning, Don Larson got hammered. From the very first inning, you knew he didn't have his good stuff. And the Cubs, to their credit, took full advantage, destroying the Yanks and tying this series now at 2 with 3 games remaining. So the series becomes extremely interesting now because the champion Yankees are in a dogfight, folks. 3 games remaining and 1 more in Chicago. Whitey Ford takes the mound again against Pete Alexander. Alexander a chance really to put his team in the driver's seat if he could pull a win. Could it be nervous time now for Casey Stengel and his men? Whitey Ford has to give him a good performance. This is a crucial one. Obviously, the best of 7 series, even at 2, and game number 5 now from Weigman Park. This is going to go a long way in deciding who moves on. Let's head out to the action, folks. It's Whitey Ford versus Grover Cleveland Alexander. Little tapper, Alexander won't get the ball there in time, and Gary has an infield hit. So here's Whitey Ford, the pitcher, 2nd inning, 2 are on, and the bunt is put down. Play's going to be made at 3rd, and they get their man. So that's a big double play there. We now move to the 3rd. No score in this ball game. Here's Mickey Mantle. Mantle hits it deep to left field. This one is going to drop. Runner heading to 2nd, so it's 1st and 2nd for New York. 1 out, and Yogi Berra the hitter. Berra hits a shot. That'll get down. He hits an 0-2 pitch and makes it happen. Runner trying to score. He will. Berra with an RBI single here in the 3rd inning. Carey comes home. And here comes Bauer as the Yanks again putting the pressure on Alexander. This one's to 3rd. Nice play, but the ball gets away from the 2nd baseman. The bases will be loaded. It's going to be an error for Kilduff. And here comes Skizzus now with 1 out and the base is full. Skizzus goes to right field. This one's going to be caught. Runner tagging up. But he will not try it. And Bauer up now with the bases loaded. Bauer hits it to center field. This ball is going to be caught, so it's 1-0. The score remains the Yanks leave the bases loaded. And here's Killefer now. Killefer takes ball 4. So Ford with 2 outs has 2 on for Turner Barber. And Barber hits it to the catcher. The play's made at first. The throw not in time. Base is loaded for Fred Merkle, who hit a grand slam in game number 4. Can he come through again? Ford delivers. This one is hit on a fly to left field, but gonna be there to make the play is Skizzus. And the bases remain loaded. Merkle cannot come through this time. We move to the 6th. 1-0 Yankees. Here's Charlie Deal. Just the pitching matchup we expected. This one's hit to short, and it's bobbled out there. A big mistake here by McDougal. With 1 out now, Max Flack comes on. And Flax is going to pop it up. That should be playable. Easy play there for Skowern. We move to the 7th. Gil McDougal against Alexander. Still 1-0. McDougal goes to right. This ball's going to get down for a hit. Runner moves to third. So with nobody out, the Yankees with men on the corners. And Mickey Mantle up at the plate. Mantle goes deep to center, way back there. Could it be? It might be. It is caught in center field. It will score a run. Mantle hammered that ball, but it stays in the park. Still 2-0, however. And we move now to the 7th. Whitey Ford working on a great outing here against Turner Barber, I should say. And here's a hard hit ball to left field, so Barber's going to get on here to lead off the inning. The Cubs trying to get something started here. 2-0's our score. Fred Merkle at the plate. Merkle hits it to short. Play is made there. Nice play by McDougal. With 1 out, it's Kilduff. Outside ball 4, so Whitey Ford walks him. Here's the pitcher, Alexander. Bunt is put down. Ford will make the play at first, so 2 outs. The tying run in scoring position. And Charlie Hollicher, a huge spot here in this game. And they walk him. That was a borderline pitch at 3-2. Wow, he took it. And Les Mann with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Here it comes. Strike 3. He gets that call. Big strikeout by Ford. The bases loaded. Left loaded again by the Cubs. And we move to the 8th inning. Now time running out on Chicago. Max Flack facing Ford. This one's hit to third. No play. It's an infield hit with 1 out. So the tying run at the plate in Killefer. Killefer will lift this one, but it'll stay in the park. Left fielder has it. Skizzus makes the play. 2 outs now for Barber. Ford has been battling all game long, and he lets up a single here. So first and second, 2 outs. Ford now facing Fred Merkle again in a huge spot. 2-0 ball game. And this one's lifted to center field, but it should be playable. Skizzus got it. And Whitey Ford continues to show you why he is such a big game pitcher, and his teammates have the utmost confidence in him, getting the job done. We move to the 9th. McDougal is the hitter. He rips the single now to left field. And we move to the bottom of the 9th. Ford is going to try to finish this off on his own. Kilduff at the plate. It's a 2-0 game. And there's a walk. So Ford walks the lead man, and that's not a good start. Here's Charlie Pick. This one's hit to first, however, play made at second. Relay back to first. Not in time, they get the lead man. One out here for Hullitcher. And a strikeout. Ford gets Hullitcher swinging, and 2 outs now, and last man is the last hope. Could it be a shutout for Ford? Fly ball, base hit. That's going to drop in there, so more drama. We got the winning run coming to the plate. Charlie Deal with 2 outs. Tying run on the bases. Winning run at the plate. 2 outs. Here's Ford's pitch. Pop up. This should be playable. Coming in from right field is Collins. And that will do it. The Yankees win. Crucial Game 5. And no one else to thank but Whitey Ford, who took the mound with conviction and battled Grover Cleveland and won again his second win of the series. This one very, very crucial. 9 innings, 0 earned runs, 4 Ks. He walked 6, but typical Ford found a way to fight through it and kept a goose egg on the board for the Cubs. Alexander pitched well. He went 9, but allowed 13 hits and 2 earned runs. The 2 earned runs came in the 3rd and the 7th. And Andy Carey, a huge game. He scored both the runs, the only runs of the game. 4 for 5 for Carey. And taking the game are the Yankees. They lose 2 out of 3 in Chicago, but this Game 5 was the big one because now they head back home and they have a chance now to wrap it up. Surely they want to avoid the Game 7, so it's going to be Phil Douglas now with the Cubs. And their final hope, it's now or never for Chicago. He'll take the mound against Tom Sturdivant. Sturdivant got the win in Game 2. He has a chance to end this series. The Yankees up 3-2, and they're back at Yankee Stadium to try to end it all. Can the Cubs force a Game 7 and continue the drama? I definitely wouldn't put it past them. And remember, folks, in Game 7, if the Cubs get there, Hippo Vaughn is waiting, and Vaughn pitched a great game his first time out. So this is a big one. The Yanks definitely going to want to wrap it up in Game 6. But let's see what happens. Ford gave him the edge here. Let's see if they can bring it home. Game 6 coming up from Yankee Stadium. Hold your breath. It should be exciting. And Hullitcher will start this game with a base hit to left field. And Charlie Deal comes up. Deal's going to hit it into the corner there. That's going to get down. So the Cubs making noise here in the first inning. 2nd and 3rd. And here's Max Flack. And Flack will hit it to second. However, the run will cross the plate, and Chicago now takes a 1-0 lead in this ball game. Here's Flack now. We're in the 3rd with a man on second, and Flack lines one in the right. It is now 2-0 in favor of Chicago. Make it 3-0 as we move to the 4th. 2 on for Hullitcher. Ripped to center field. That's the base hit. 1 run in. Another man making it home. It is 5-0 Chicago, the exact type of game they want for the Cubs. 7th inning, 6-0 our score. It is all Cubs. And here's a long fly to right to the short porch. Home run. Goodbye. Flack hits it over the wall. 7-0 now our score. The 19 Cubs, very impressive. Getting it done here. We're in the bottom of the 8th for Yogi Berra. And Berra hits one. That's going to leave the yard to left field. So the shutout is spoiled by the Yankee catcher. 7-1 our score here in the 8th inning. To the 9th we go. Howard up there with 2 outs. Douglas delivers. This is hit to second. Play is made. Game over. The Cubs win game number 6, 7-1. They lose at home but come right back and win on the road. And this best-of-7 series is wiped clean as we got one game to decide it all. It's going to come down to Game 7. Phil Douglas produced for the Cubs when they really needed it. 9 innings, 1 earned run allowed, 7 Ks. Max Flack 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs, a home run. And Hollicher 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs for him. And the Cubs fighting with everything they have. Win the game, Douglas the win, Sturdivant the loss. We now go to Game 7, and the 56 Yanks have to be feeling the pressure now as the Cubs, with a chance for a monumental upset, a chance to eliminate one of the all-time greats. One game now left from Yankee Stadium, and it's Hippo Vaughn who's going to take the mound for the Cubs. He pitched the shutout earlier in the series, and he's going to go up against Johnny Cucks. So the Yankees do have a tough nut to crack, but it's down to one game, and we'll decide who will move on. Every pitch matters, and every play very, very important. So let's get it started. Game 7 of this best-of-7 to decide the winner. Can the Cubs pull the upset? Ladies and gentlemen, let's head out to Yankee Stadium for game number 7. And here's another hit for the Cubs, and they now have opened up the first inning as they've done so often in this series. With a rally, the bases loaded, nobody out. Huge spot here for Les Mann. And Mann is going to lift this one deep into right field. It is going to be caught. Runner's going to tag. It is 1-0 Cubs. They break out in front here in the very first inning. 2-0 our score. The Yanks trailing right away, and here's Mantle with nobody out. Mantle's going to lift this one to left field, but it's going to be caught out there. And Skolwern's the hitter. Skolwern takes a pitch outside, so now the Yankees have the bases loaded with only one out. And it's up to Yogi Berra to see if he can come through. Berra takes strike 3, a big pitch there by Vaughn. And a huge out, and now Lou Skizis is the man with the bases loaded. He's going to line one. It is going to get down. A base hit for Skizis. A run's going to score. 2-1 our score. And it is now Hank Bauer with a chance. Bauer lines one deep to center, way back to the wall. Grand slam. It's a slammer for Bauer. Huge blow here in the very first inning off Vaughn, and it makes the score 5-2. What a home run by Hank Bauer, just what the Yanks needed. 3 this postseason for Bauer, and we move all the way to 9, folks. The Yankees have wrestled control of this game. 8-2 the score. Cucks has gone the distance after that rough first inning. Fred Merkle the man up with 2 outs. And this one hit hard, but right at the right fielder. Game over. The 56 Yankees survive. They win it in 7. But the party started in New York at Yankee Stadium. These Yankee teams, led by Casey Stengel, they just knew how to play in Game 7s. And this was no difference. There was pressure, I tell you, falling behind in the first inning, 2-0. But 5 runs in the bottom of the first, answering right back, and led by Hank Bauer's grand slam, and the Yankees would hold on the rest of the game, especially Johnny Cucks, who overcame a very nervous first inning to go the distance, striking out 2, walking 3. Lou Skizis, he got a big 2-out hit to allow the rally to continue in that inning. Just a steal performance by the Yankees in Game 7 when they needed it. Vaughn takes the loss. He could not hold the early lead, and 4-3, the favorites escape with a win, but boy, it was not easy. Looking at the series again, the Yankees won the first 2. The Cubs came back and won Games 3 and 4. Game 5 was a shutout by Whitey Ford. Game 6 was all Cubs, and Game 7 turned into a pretty comfortable Yankee win. Looking at the numbers for the Cubs, Max Flack, a great series, 9 RBI, 3 home runs, 484 for Flack. The right fielder was awesome in this series. Holitzer, 357. He was great. Looking further down, Charlie Deal hit 300. Les Mann drove in 4. Merkel drove in 4, but only hit 208. Pitching-wise, you can see here Pete Alexander lost 2 games, even though his ERA was only 3.18. Hippo Vaughn, a good start, a bad start, a mixed bag, but it was that Game 7 performance that they're going to remember. Claude Hendricks did well for the Cubs, who got some good pitching, but still came up short. For the Yankees, looking at their numbers, McDougal had 423. Skizas, an impressive series, 407 with 4 RBIs. You go a little further down, you see Mantle at 375 with 4 RBIs, and Hank Bauer, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs for him at 286. Yogi Berra, 7 driven in to lead his team in the best-of-7 series. Pitching-wise, Whitey Ford, 2-0, an outstanding series for Ford. He got 2 wins in 2 good performances. Staley, and then, of course, there's Tux, who did it in Game 7 when his team needed it the most. For Sturtevant and Larson, a rough series, especially Larson, who had nowhere near his perfect stuff and got hammered in Game number 4. The MVP of the series, the game is choosing the losing side and is saying that they're going to give it to Max Flack, who, yes, did have an incredible series, but I'm going to say I'm going to give it to the chairman of the boards, Whitey Ford, who pitched a crucial Game 5 shutout and also pitched a great Game 1 for the winning Yankees. 2-0 for him, 18 innings of work, only 2 earned runs, 8 Ks, and a 1.28 whip with big pitching when he needed to, even though he didn't strike out many and maybe didn't have his best stuff. So Whitey Ford, our MVP, and the 56 team, you can see here what we learned, that it doesn't matter who is matched up and what teams we have. These best-of-7 series are all dogfights, which makes these random matchups all the more fun to be part of. This was Series 192. Yes, the 56 Yankees survive. Casey Stengel could take a deep breath, and for the Cubs, they gave it their all. Historical baseball matchup is where you'll find us, and Out of the Park Baseball 21 is the game that will bring the action, and I do encourage you to check it out. So once again, Series 192 goes to the famous 1956 Yankees, defeating the 1919 Chicago Cubs in a best-of-7 in 7 games, winning the final game at their home park 8-2. So we are happy you joined us. We'll be with you again very soon. Series 192 is over. Glad you joined us. Have a good one. Stay safe and enjoy baseball where you can get it. Bye-bye.